Going to be bringing in some sheep, some Dorper sheep. That's my goal. May have a few head of cattle in here too, a couple of horses. So I've got a lot of cleaning up to do. So back when I was in the construction business, which I retired from that back in 2008, I stored a lot of materials up here that was just scraps. And these are old logs from where I built log homes. I mean, they're ruined, they're rotten. Everything is ready for a good bonfire. And as you can see right here, this is a lot of old dovetail logs that were cut wrong, messed up. I got pipe, all kind of scrap up through here. And it's been here a long time. We use some of it for bonfires, and we need to use the rest of it for bonfires. I've got cattle gates. It's all grown up. Here in the western North Carolina mountains, we get a lot of rain. And because of that, everything grows so quickly. And it's basically composted some of the lumber. So I want to clean all this up all the way back to the stream. There's actually a little stream right back there, and I want to clean it up all the way down through here. It is a mess. There is some pressure treated materials that's in here that's still good, but other than that, no. It's just all bonfire material. That, as you can see, is completely deteriorated. Tens of thousands of dollars worth of lumber, log siding, as you can see, and not been touched in 15, 16 years. And you can tell we've been pulling through it to burn it. And we want to burn it because it's got some termites in it. We don't want those termites to be transferred to anything else. I do have some fence posts, as you can see, pressure treated fence posts that are in between the stacks. Those will make some good fence when we do some fence work. You see there's one of the fence posts right there. Good solid fence posts. They're in good shape. But this log siding, as you can tell, it's had its best days hanging out here too long. And I'm gonna get it before the rattlesnakes and copperheads start getting too bad. But the grass is looking green. I mean, it's come out of the winter. You can see up there where I have the garden, and see the mountains in the background, and see the lake down there, the dock in the distance. So as you can see, trees have fallen across things, but I do have some salvageable pressure treated posts, which is good. I don't want to get cleaned up. There's a good example. That's a stack of plywood that's completely ruined. And that right there alone would be a lot of money right now if you bought it. But that's been laying there for 12, 13 years. It's not worth anything now. Even some of this pressure treated, I noticed, didn't hold up. As you can see, there's a few pieces. Right there's another one. You can see right in here. Some of them didn't hold up. Some of them actually, I don't think were treated well enough to handle it. And but we're going to salvage the ones that show that they were in good shape, like this one. They're good and straight, and we can use those for gate posts and posts for some sheds, things like that. Even have an old trailer over there that's needing a reflooring and or sold or pulled out of here. That's a big one. That's one that will handle a pretty good sized piece of equipment. I'm gonna use that metal roofing. I was pulling through it the other day. Really good metal roof. That's one item that I'm excited about utilizing. And I have quite a bit of it left here, and it's good standing seam, green, beautiful metal roof. We're going to use that on some of the structures that we're going to put together here. As you can tell, some pipe. So yeah, this is a lot. And I cut down an old apple tree. It's been here probably for 150 years. Thing's been here forever, and it just wasn't producing. Might have had 1 or 2 apples on it. That's about it. So once I get this cleaned up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it all the way back here to the branch. There's some old locust posts. I bought those years ago, piled them up here. Now they're covered up with moss. They don't rot, so they're still very stable. But with all that moss covering them, that would make some very good decorative fencing around some shrubbery. I can make use of those. So Chevy down here in the water, you can see a tree. That's a dead tree. It fell over, and its root system was right there next to the water. He's always exploring. He's going back into a beaver hole or something. But we have a lot of good water on the property. Nice, beautiful water. Look at all the quartz rock in the bottom of it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Rocks, this is a very rocky piece of property anyway. So Chevy just now went from here. Let me show you this. We'll zoom out. He went from here. He went straight up this bank, and he went all the way up to here. He loves it. Now that is a groundhog hole right there. Chevy's sniffing around. He probably smells the groundhog. Got a beautiful forest up here that you can see different types of plants everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Let me give you an example. Right there, that is a hemlock. And as you know, the woolly outagig took a lot of them out a few years ago. Only have mostly small ones left now. We'll see if they're immune. And then you can see another hemlock right there, the green area just above Chevy. That's hemlock. Some of these are mountain laurel. You get on up there, you'll see some wild rhododendron. And yeah, he's sniffing around that groundhog hole. Come on, Chevy. Let's go over here. Come on. Come on. Let's see how he chooses to go across. Come on. So, not everything here is as beautiful as some of the pictures I show, but I do have a lot of grass, a lot of property that's ready for animals, except for we have some fencing that we need to do. And not all the fencing is up. Some of it is, some of it isn't. It started, but it is not complete. But I'm happy to see that we're getting The grass is starting to turn green here really well. And we don't have to irrigate here at all. We have plenty of rain. So you can see over there, I put a ditch in and I buried pipeline in the fall. And there's a water hydrant right there, as you can see it. I guess you can see it. There you go. And which I put several water hydrants in to get prepared for wherever we needed water. You can see the little wild violets blooming all over the place. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. So anyway, just a little bit of a tour of the lower part of the property. And you can see I have a lot of work to do to clean up. It's a pile of locust beams over there that, again, won't rot. Locust is really good to make heavy timber posts out of, and they'll last forever. I've got pasture fence up in my forest that literally has been there for 100 years, and it's out of locust and it's still holding strong. So, hey Chevy, you gonna tell everybody hello on the camera? Is that what you're gonna do? No? Okay. So we have a lot of work to do here, a lot of back work to get this place cleaned up. Like I say, we've got a lot of old materials that we need to go through. Need to pull out the good stuff, burn the rest of it. And a lot of the material that we burn, if it's solid enough, we'll burn it separately than the material that's not solid enough. And then we'll let the material that's not solid enough, say it's spongy, it's been rotted, we'll let that go into what we call ash, and we'll put it in areas where it won't affect the growth of the grass or the growth of any of the plants. But then if there's anything that's pressure treated, we won't burn that. We don't burn pressure treated, because pressure treated, when you burn it, it has actually arsenic in it. And ground contact pressure treated material has even more arsenic in it than, say, a board that you'd put on your deck. But it obviously, some of this doesn't have enough in it, or it would have not allowed those termites to get in one end of it. But the solid materials that we have that we can burn, may find some of it that don't have termites in it. If we do, we can cut pieces of that up and use it for chicken coop material, or material around something. But most of it we'll burn, and we'll turn it into biochar. And biochar is when you will burn you can burn brush, you can burn logs and sticks and limbs, but it's a mixture of water and fire. What you do is you let it get really, really hot, and before you allow those coals to turn into ashes, then you wet it down and you put that fire out. When those coals are red hot, you just put the fire out with water. And what that does is it creates your own homemade charcoal. And that apple tree that I have right down there that I cut down, that's what I'm gonna do with the apple tree. I'm gonna make some out of the bigger stuff. I'm gonna make some chips, not small chips, but cut them up in about 6 or 8 inches in length, chunks, split them in the smaller pieces, and we'll use that to soak them and put them in the smoker to make some good barbecue out of apple wood. Like, as you can see, this apple tree is pretty good size. It's been around for many, many years. So, and if we take some of this, let's say some smaller stuff right here. Good example right here. And so it got some, this is as big as most big mature apple trees, and this is just the limb. So we'll take small chunks of this and store it, and then when it comes time to smoke some barbecue, some big pieces of meat, then what we'll do is we'll soak these in water, get them good and wet, and after we have the coals going really good in the smoker, we'll throw the wet wood on it. That's what's going to make some of the best smoke. Best. And if I was setting up let's say I slaughtered a hog or what have you, and we wanted to smoke some bacon, this is some of the best smoke out of this apple wood. I have a lot of hickory here too, so between hickory wood and apple wood, you're gonna get your best smoked meat. And I have in this top of this tree, there's a lot of biochar that I can make here, my own charcoal. And then there's a lot of tree here that I can get massive amounts of smoking wood out of it. It'll last me for a while. This piece right here below me is probably 12 feet long, and it has 3 pieces up here at the top as they intertwine with each other. And this piece right here is the trunk piece. And let me show you how big this trunk piece is. This trunk piece, you can see my hand here. This is a huge piece of apple wood. And as far as the rings of the base of it, that's where I cut it down, right there. Solid. Makes some of the most beautiful lumber out of it too. It's gorgeous. So with this piece here that I have on the ground, I'm thinking about running it through the sawmill and getting a few pieces of material out of it to make something out of it instead of turning it into smoker wood. And have another tree right here growing next to it that's not an apple tree. So I cut it close, but I didn't cut into it. So this will open up a lot of area all the way back to the stream with the grass. So we'll have plenty of room to drive the tractor or to walk, whatever, around this area here, because I've not fenced this area in yet at all. I'm going to be bringing in some sheep, some Dorper sheep. That's my goal. May have a few head of cattle in here too, a couple of horses, and the hillside way up here, you can see way back here in the background behind the tractor, that goes way back in there too. I have a lot of pasture up that way as well as pastures way back here. When I first bought this property, I was going to turn all this into a vineyard. And because from up there with the mountain views and the beauty of the property and the lake, and it would make one beautiful vineyard. I'm not 100% undecided on that. I'm considering the front portion being a vineyard, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. But right now, I'm thinking about that section being more of an orchard or fruit trees. So in regards to all that, appreciate you hanging out here with me and me kind of showing you around. I didn't show you a lot, but I showed you some. And so much potential here, so much. And one of the things that I have here, let me take you here and show you something, which has been a little bit of a concern of mine for a little while. Because what happens is, when we have warmer winters, when they don't get cold enough, then insects, it doesn't kill off the insects that need to be killed off. So a few years ago, I had some beetles get into my pines. So, I don't know if you can see this log right here. This is a piece of a log that I cut down. Up here is about 100 plus giant white pines. And they're all dead. Beautiful white pines when they were alive. They died about 2.5 years ago. Now, what I'm going to do is we're bringing the sawmill back. We're going to set the sawmill up right in here. And we're going to pull those logs out, cut those trees out, and saw them into much needed lumber. Some siding. It'll go well toward helping to build some barns and farm materials. So we're gonna make use of those pines. I'm very happy that that's about to take place. Sawmill should be here in a few days. So once that's set up, that's gonna be something that's gonna make me happy, because I'm looking forward to all those trees coming out of there. Once those trees come out of there, that's going to help, which I don't think that the beetles are expanding to other areas now. Plus this winter, we had a cold winter, which was good. And but when I clear that out, I'm going to have to make a decision, because it lays fairly well up there. I got to make a decision. Do I clear it out and just let other trees grow back? Or do I clear it out and turn that into a grassy area? Right now, my thoughts are I have enough grass, have enough areas for the animals. So most likely that'll go back into being trees. Will I plant trees there? Here, we really don't need to, but if I do, that means I can choose what's going to grow back there. If I don't, the forest will choose. And right now in that area, other than those white pine, that entire mountainside is almost 90% poplar. And they're good straight lumber, timber. One of these days, I may utilize some of them for timber as well. Don't want to ever clear cut, because that is not what kind of look I'm looking for around here, where it looks like someone butchered the mountain. If I'm going to cut timber, usually I'll pick one tree and then I'll go somewhere else and pick another tree. And I have property all the way to the top of the mountain. So I'm not going to ever run out of timber for my needs or what have you. So there's no point in that. And someone asked me several times, I've had timber companies ask me if I was willing to sell the timber, and they come in here and cut your timber and pay you for your timber, but then the property will look not as pretty for the rest of my lifetime, because it takes a while for a forest to grow like this one. And I don't want that. If when I'm dead and gone one of these days and my children want to do that, that would be their decision. For me, my preference would be to not do that. Even though lumber prices are extremely high right now, it's a good time to do that. But at the same time, I want this place to stay as natural as it possibly can be and not be butchered out. So I haven't timbered it. I've owned this place for over 20 years and I've never allowed any timbering on the property. and it looks amazing. So anyway, thank you for joining me here. Appreciate it. And thought I'd give you just a little bit of tour of the area here since it's turning green. And I love it when the springtime hits us and things start turning green. I mean, this right here would be a great place to put some free range chickens and let them have a blast. They love to eat some grass, but they also love to eat the bugs down in between it and what have you. And then we are going to be bringing in some guineas as well. And guineas are extremely annoying for some people. Some people don't like them because they're constantly making noise. They have their chirping sounds, but that doesn't bother me. One of the reasons that I would like to have some guineas around here is because if I feed them close to the cabin, then they will keep all the scorpions and the ticks, all the spiders. They'll keep all those eaten away because they're the best pest control you could ever have in your garden or around your home is guineas. Now, they're almost like watchdogs, though, because anybody drives up, anybody comes around, you're going to hear the entire flock of your guineas start cackling. And when they do, you're going to know someone's driving up. Here, I mean, my driveway back here to the cabin is over a quarter mile long. And I usually don't know someone's driving up until they're almost in my yard. But if I get some guineas, I'm sure they'll help Chevy be the watchdog. Hey, buddy. How you doing? That's my boy. Yeah, it is. Chevy gets his exercise every day. And I do too. All right, I gotta go back and get some things done. Occasionally I'll take a break and do a few things around here and make things happen, and then I'll get back and go to work. I still do have a job, and my job, thankfully, is mostly all online. So I appreciate everyone here for following me on my channel. Hope you subscribe as well, and that you hit that bell so that you get all the notifications for all of my future videos. God bless you.